The driver's seat is presented by Ray Reese Volkswagen and Portland's Hyundai, Portland's #1 VW dealer, and Portland's newest Hyundai dealer. Now let's climb into the driver's seat on Miles Around Television.
In our driver's seat is the 2008 Mazda CX9, a mid to large size SUV with 3 rows of seats, and it's walked away with a lot of prizes in the automotive world. New for 2008 is the BSM system, or the blind spot monitoring system, which signals you when you try to move into the lane on your left or your right that there's a car in your blind spot. Something new for this year and really gives this car an up on the competition.
Well, I think Nick touched on something that I think is very important with the Mazda CX9. Now, no, it isn't self-aware. The car doesn't actually have a soul, though Mazda wants you to think it has one from a sports car. It has the personality of a true all-round vehicle. Now, what I mean by that is it's not an off-road terror like the Land Rover we just tested. It's not built to go off-road in 12 inches of mud. It's also not a sports car, whether or not Mazda wants you to think that. It's an all-round purpose vehicle that has a great drive on the road and really does what the potential buyer is looking for. Gives you comfort, gives you convenience, and it gives you a great warranty and a great built vehicle. We're going to take a look at some of the mechanics. We're certainly going to take a look inside, but right now let's start right here under the hood.
Underneath the hood of the 2008 Mazda CX9, you'll find a 3.7 V6. It's up 0.2 from last year. It was a 3.5, and they did that by boring out the engine just to make a larger displacement.
Like great sports commentating teams, there is a color man and a play-by-play guy. That was definitely play-by-play because Nick said it right. It is 0.2 liters more, and it was bored out. Much like that statement was boring. Let's get down to what makes this vehicle exciting. The vehicle has a lot of attributes when it comes to numbers. 273 horsepower, 270 foot-pounds of torque, a great all-wheel drive system. But I'm going to focus on what makes it exciting for you, the potential buyer. The car has a great drive. Now, yes, it's a little bit of a soft turn in, and it's got a lot of body roll because it is a heavy vehicle. It's almost 4,200 pounds, but it's about the everyday use of the vehicle. You don't get a lot of road noise. You don't get a bunch of bump stop steer. It's the way that the vehicle kind of, I guess, molds itself to a driving style that I think is going to make everybody happy. Now you'll have people on the fringe that want more turn-in sharpness or maybe a little stiffer suspension. I think the potential buyer for the vehicle is going to find exactly what they want. A great vehicle with a great drive. Before we move on to the exterior of the Mazda CX-9, I want to take a minute to talk about Mazda's active torque split system in the all-wheel drive. It's a little bit more advanced than some of the average four-wheel drive systems or all-wheel drive systems in it that it senses torque slippage and wheel slippage at the same time. It can force power front or rear or side to side and giving you safety and traction when you need it.
The 2008 Mazda CX-9 comes in 3 different trim levels, everything from an 18-inch to a 20-inch wheel if you get up to the Grand Touring. And the vehicle, although very plain on the sides, most of the features Dennis will talk about are up front. Although this vehicle does come with a lot of standard options on the exterior, you can always beef it up. The factory will input towing systems and other things on the exterior for you if you need to go that extra mile.
This is the time in the review where we get to talk about one of the best attributes of the CX-9. It's this front-end styling. A lot of people who might go out and shop for a sport utility might want something blocky and kind of mannish. This is definitely the opposite. It's sleek and sexy. Notice the beautiful transition of body lines in between the front fender and the hood. And then you take the wing dam in the front, the grille here, and the way that it's pushed in, it has this beautiful, sleek, overall look to the front of the vehicle. And I have to say that out of all the sport utilities out there, it definitely takes this vehicle to another level. It's a luxury sport utility at a mid-level price. Moving to the interior of the Mazda CX-9, I'm going to go with one of the things I see Mazda doing with all their vehicles, all their designs, going against the grain. Most interiors are kind of horizontal. They have a kind of a layout that makes it simple, where Mazda has done a real vertical feel of the interior. This beautiful wood and aluminum that's inlaid into the door handles gives the interior depth. Beautiful dash layout. A lot of windshield that goes out there, kind of a greenhouse effect, but you have great room in the driver's seat. Nice lumbar support too for a guy with a bad back. You find that comfort seating position somewhere between sport and luxury. And again, one more thing that makes it beautiful, great material choices on the inside as well.
A couple of other things to look at on the inside of the 2008 Mazda CX9. Some of the lights on the dash are actually an ultraviolet light, and studies done by VW a few years ago showed that the ultraviolet light actually keeps you awake at night. Now, it comes along with the signature red colors that Mazda do in all of their other vehicles, but also new for 2008 is the DVD system, which is great with wireless headphones, easily usable and easily viewable. The other thing is the high inside box on the inside, the center armrest feature that makes the bottom of a T shape, and that's significant now mostly on the inside of vehicles. When I see a high box area between both seats, an armrest area, it's not something I like, but in this case, in this vehicle, they've done an excellent job of making it usable and fashionable.
Now is the time in the program when we talk about our 2 ups and 1 down, this being the 2008 Mazda CX9. My first up is going to be the overall styling. There's a lot of vehicles out there that cost more, go faster, and do a lot of things that this can't do, and a lot of things that it can do, but this looks better than most of them. Again, a little bit of an opinion. Now, my other up is going to be the overall quietness on the interior. I don't know how Mazda did it, but somewhere between sound deadening and use of materials within the vehicle, they made it very quiet, and I think that's an attribute definitely worth noting. Now, my downside is going to be something to do with that second and third row seat. At 6'2", I'm on the upper side of the average height for guys, but in that second row, third seat, it's a little bit tough for me to sit straight up when I want to. Might be nitpicking, but that's going to be my down.
Looking at my 2 ups and 1 down for the 2008 Mazda CX9, the first up has got to be that BSM system, or the blind spot monitoring system. Now, we've seen that on the Volvo, which happens to be the same car company. They are both owned by Ford, and it wasn't quite as finite as the Mazda system. Now, the Mazda system, when you're driving along and you have something that moves into your blind spot and you indicate to go over to that lane, it'll actually turn off your indicator and warn you that there's somebody in your blind spot. Whereas with the Volvo system, it just flashed a light on your mirror. I think that's advanced. It's done a great job with that. My second up for this car is the ease of getting into the third row of seats. And we know so many car companies stick that third row in the back, it's squashed in, and it's really hard to climb over the other seats to get in the back. Well, Mazda have done a great job. It's a big handle on the side of the second row, you fold it, the whole row moves forward, and you can climb into the back with ease. And that's an excellent job on this vehicle, since no other manufacturer seems to have pulled that together. My down for this vehicle, and it's going to be kind of a strange down, I guess, is the fact that there is little leg room in the second row. Now, the second row of seats, when you have the third row activated, doesn't seem to go back quite far enough, and if you have someone with a larger leg or a big calf, it seems to be squashed against the seat in front of you. And that's our complete review for the 2008 Mazda CX-9.
The 2008 Mazda CX-9 Grand Touring all-wheel drive comes with a 3.7-litre V6 dual overhead cam 24-valve engine. It has a 6-speed automatic transmission, and its base price is $34,655. As tested, $41,505. The EPA rating for city is 15 miles a gallon, and for highway is 21 miles a gallon.
Miles Around Television is brought to you by Baxter Auto Parts. With 4 warehouses stocked full of parts ready to ship, Baxter Auto Parts can get you the parts you need when you need them. Buy with confidence from Baxter Auto Parts. Check them out at BaxterAutoParts.com.